Hello, children. This is the seventh part of the chapter Some Basic Principles and Techniques of Organic Chemistry. Now we are going to study about the quantitative analysis. In this, we are going to see qualitative and quantitative analysis means molecular analysis of organic compounds. The main objective of an organic chemist is the determination of the structure of a new compound which has been obtained in pure state either from a natural source or it is synthesized in the laboratory. In order to establish the correct structure of an organic compound, it is necessary to know precisely its molecular formula. The following steps are involved in the determination of the molecular formula of a compound. Number one, detection of elements. Means you have to detect which element is present in this particular compound: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, halogen, phosphorus, or any other metal. That is detection of elements, and that comes under qualitative analysis. And next is estimation of elements, that we will do in a quantitative analysis. So let's begin with detection of elements, means qualitative analysis. As you know that most of the organic compounds contain 2 to 5 elements, different elements. The principal elements present are what? Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Less commonly present elements are nitrogen, sulfur, and halogens. In few organic compounds, phosphorus and metals may also be present. If we will see the order of abundance of these elements in organic compounds, we will find that carbon is always present, hydrogen nearly always present, oxygen generally present, nitrogen, halogen, sulfur less commonly present, phosphorus and metals are rarely present. So let's see the detection of carbon and hydrogen. Carbon is always present in an organic compound and hydrogen too is rarely absent. However, the presence of these two elements is confirmed by this common test. The diagram you can see here, this is the laboratory apparatus setup. This will be the setup of the detection of carbon and hydrogen. In your book also it is given on page number 749. If it is not clear here, you can see in your book also. First see the apparatus setup, then I will explain what is going on. You can see a burner, stand, a test tube which is holding the organic compound of which we are going to test that is carbon and hydrogen is present in this compound. That compound is mixed with copper oxide, and a delivery tube has a bulb which is containing anhydrous copper sulfate, which is white in color. Again a tube which is passed to a conical flask which contains lime water, and then this again a setup of delivery has been made here, which is a guard tube is present that is containing soda lime, and finally the end of this tube is covered with a cotton plug. So this is the apparatus setup. Now try to understand what we are going to do. A small amount of dry organic compound mixed with about 8 times of dry cupric oxide is taken in a hard glass tube. The glass tube is clamped and fitted with a delivery tube carrying a bulb in the horizontal length. The end of the delivery tube is immersed in lime water. The bulb of the delivery tube contains anhydrous copper sulfate. This will be colorless. The mixture is heated very strongly. Carbon and hydrogen present in the organic compound are oxidized by cupric oxide to carbon dioxide and water, respectively. Okay, so this is called copper oxide test. If carbon is present, if it will react, you can write a reaction in your copy. Write, if carbon is there, it is reacting with copper oxide. This will give copper and carbon dioxide. Do the balancing later on. Copper plus cupric oxide gives out copper plus carbon dioxide. Now you, if you want, you can balance 2 here, 2C, 2CO2. 2Cu plus CO2. This is your balanced reaction. So if carbon is present, it will give carbon dioxide. If hydrogen is present, then it will react with cupric oxide, and after heating it will give copper plus H2O. This will be the reaction, and thus how we will check that definitely the carbon dioxide and water has been formed. To check this, let's move on. Carbon dioxide turns the lime water milky, and water vapors turn anhydrous copper sulfate blue. Water vapors condense on the cooler part of the tube. This will be the end result, that water vapor will be just condensed on the cooler part of the tube. One thing we have to remember, that cupric oxide which we are using is hygroscopic, and it is always ignited before use as to make it completely dry. Why we require it completely dry? Because as we are checking for hydrogen and water is being formed, it will have, if it will have moisture, then our test will, it will give the test, and it will not be show the presence of particular hydrogen present in the compound. So with this we can confirm the presence of carbon and hydrogen. Now let's see the detection of oxygen. There is no satisfactory quantitative test for oxygen. It is usually ascertained by quantitative analysis. However, an idea of the presence of oxygen in the given compound can be had by heating the compound in an atmosphere of nitrogen. If water drops are formed, the presence of oxygen is inferred. Okay, means if we are testing for the presence of oxygen, so we have to just attach the apparatus with the nitrogen cylinder. It means in the nitrogen gas atmosphere only we can test for the presence of oxygen, then it will form water, and otherwise in air definitely water will be formed. So in the most important thing is the atmosphere of nitrogen, means the apparatus should be connected to nitrogen cylinder, so the water drops are formed, and this will be confirm the presence of oxygen. Detection of nitrogen, sulfur and halogens such as chlorine, bromine and iodine. These elements are tested in an organic compound by Lassane's test. The organic compound, nitrogen, sulfur, and halogens, is fused with sodium metal as to convert these elements into ionizable organic substances. I am repeating this. The organic compound is fused with sodium metal as to convert these elements into ionizable or inorganic substances, that is nitrogen into sodium cyanide. When nitrogen nitrogen into sodium cyanide, means nitrogen will combine with sodium, Na plus N, and carbon is there, organic being an organic compound, so Na plus C plus N gives out NaCN. If sulfur is present, that sulfur will combine with sodium and it will give Na2S. And if halogens such as chlorine, bromine, iodine, any of it is present, it will give NaX. If chlorine is there, sodium chloride. If bromine, sodium bromide. If iodine, sodium iodide. And the cyanide, sulfide, and halide ions can be confirmed in the aqueous solution by usual tests. And the aqueous solution is called Lassane's filtrate. Do remember, children, for detection of nitrogen, two tests are there: soda lime test and Lassane's test. Soda lime test is not very appropriate because many classes of nitrogenous compounds, such as nitro and diazo compounds, do not respond to this test in spite of the presence of nitrogen in them. So, soda lime test, this you will do when you will be in your laboratory. This you will prepare in the lab, soda lime. But this is not very appropriate to find the presence of nitrogen in organic compound. Rather, we move on to Lassane's test, and that only is called sodium extract, or we can call it sodium test. So let's see how we can prepare the Lassane's filtrate. For this, a small piece of sodium of a pea size is freshly cut and dried between the folds of filter paper. What we have to do, as you know, that sodium is highly reactive, so we keep it dipped in the kerosene oil. We have to take a small piece of sodium directly to the filter paper. We will fold the filter paper on sodium to just soak all the oil and make it dry, so that dry sodium will be kept in this fusion tube. This type of small tube, this is not test tube, this is a at least your index finger length it will have, of girls, not of boys, small tube. It is known as fusion tube or ignition tube also we call it. In this tube we have to take that dried sodium. It is taken in this tube and heated gently. When it melts to a shining globule, while keeping it on the flame, we will see that it is melting and it is giving a shining globule. The tube is removed from the flame, and a small part of organic compound, whatever we are going to detect that in that compound, either it is solid or liquid. If it is solid, approximately 0.05 gram of solid, and if the compound is liquid, we will take 3 or 4 drops, and that will be added to this sodium. The tube is firstly heated till the reaction eases, and then strongly till it is red hot, means this portion will become red. Till that time we have to heat it. It is now plunked directly into 10 to 15 ml of distilled water taken in a porcelain basin. What we have to do, when it will become red hot, we have to take a porcelain dish, or in beaker also we can take that. Should contain 10 to 15 ml of distilled water. Okay, and we have to plunk this fusion tube should be dropped in this, so as that it can break in that solution in water. It will be broken. If it is not broken, we have to crush it with the tips of the tongue which we are holding. By that only we will crush it to break it. And now this solution, the whatever was there here in this fusion tube, that is now in the distilled water. Now the contents are heated for 5 minutes and then filtered. We will heat this beaker or porcelain dish, anything in any apparatus we can take it, and then we will heat it for 5 minutes, and then we will filter it. Then glass parts and other, if any impurities are there, they will be filtered out, and the filtrate is now known as Lascience filtrate, or we can also call it sodium extract. Actually, organic compounds being covalent normally do not have ionizable groups, hence direct test is not possible. Okay, now test for nitrogen. 2 ml of the filtrate which we have made ready, that is sodium extract, that is also called as sodium extract, or we can also call it Lascience filtrate. Whatever suits you, you can use it. 2 ml of Lascience filtrate, that is sodium extract, is taken in a test tube, and 2 to 3 drops of freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solutions is added. As the solution is alkaline, means excess of sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide. A green precipitate of ferrous hydroxide appears. The mixture is boiled for 2 minutes, cooled, and acidified with dilute sulfuric acid. Actually, H2SO4 dissolves ferrous hydroxide. Appearance of a green or Prussian blue color confirms the presence of nitrogen. Alternatively, ferric chloride and dilute HCl may be added. Like this, we can do the test for nitrogen. Actually, try to understand it, but when we these type of reaction type of work, when we do in the laboratory, then only it is just be traced on our mind. But try to understand, and do remember, I don't think you will be able to do the analysis of organic or organic compounds detection. We will not do in class 11, maybe in class 12th we will do it. Now for detection of sulfur, what we have to do, again we have to perform a Lascience test. Sulfur is present in the sodium extract in the form of sodium sulfide. This I have told you, that when sodium is reacting with sulfur, it is giving sodium sulfide. When sulfur and nitrogen both are present, sodium thiocyanate is formed. Both are tested simultaneously with ferric chloride solution when a blood red coloration appears. Sulfur is tested in the sodium extract in the following manner. What we have to do, to a little number one, first we will start with a little of sodium extract, a freshly prepared solution of sodium nitroprusside. Sodium nitroprusside will be added. A deep violet color indicates the presence of sulfur. This reaction. Next, to another test portion of sodium extract, a few drops of acetic acid and lead acetate are added. A black precipitate of lead sulfide is formed. Okay, this also will confirm the presence of sulfur. If organic compound contains both nitrogen and sulfur, then sodium fusion extract contains sodium thiocyanate, which gives blood red color with neutral ferric chloride, NaCNS. Okay, so these are the tests for the detection of the presence of sulfur. Next is detection of halogens. Again, we will do the Lascience test. Chlorine, bromine, and iodine are present in the sodium extract in the form of sodium chloride, sodium bromide, and sodium iodide, respectively. For the test of halogens, it is necessary to remove sodium cyanide and sodium sulfide from the sodium extract if nitrogen and sulfur are present. This is done by boiling the sodium extract with concentrated nitric acid. It means when we are going to perform the check the presence of halogen, means if nitrogen or sulfur is present, we have to remove its cyanide and sulfide. For this, we have to boil that solution with concentrated nitric acid for few time. What will happen? Sodium nitrate and hydrogen cyanide will be formed. Sodium nitrate and hydrogen sulfide will be formed. Hydrogen cyanide and hydrogen sulfide being gas will be removed. Okay. NaCN and Na2S are not decomposed. White or black precipitate of silver cyanide and silver sulfide respectively are formed with silver nitrate solution. Now to the sodium extract that is free from sodium cyanide and sodium sulfide, silver nitrate solution is added by acidifying it with dilute nitric acid. Appearance of white precipitate of silver chloride or pale yellow precipitate of silver bromide or yellow precipitate of silver iodide indicates the presence of chlorine, bromine, or iodine in the organic compound, respectively. The reactions are given here. So, these are the tests we can perform to detect the presence of different elements in our organic compound. Next is estimation of elements that I will start in my new lecture. For this, thank you children.